All right, I'd like to call the Board of Public Works meeting to order. Deputy Assistant Clerk Stephanie, could you take roll call, please?
Alderman Tom Grady. Here. Alderman Ted Grady. Here. Alderman Rapella. Here. Alderman Nichols. Here. Alderman Taylor. Here. Alderman Sevenik.
Here.
Alderman Langdon.
Here.
And Alderman Kruger is not here tonight.
Okay, so first on the agenda tonight are the minutes to approve from the June 17th, 2019 Board of Public Works Committee. Do I have a motion? Alderman Ted Grady.
I'll move to the council to forward the minutes from June 17th, 2019, Board of Public Works.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion by Alderman Ted Grady and a second by Alderman Tom Grady. Is there any discussion? Although no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. Okay, so tonight we have four items on the agenda for discussion / action items. The first one is a motion for recommendation to award contract unit number 2019-007 for Province Terrace Pond Modifications Advance, and that's for Advanced Construction, Inc., in the amount of $210,930.95. Director Josh, anything on this?
This is the Manitowoc Road and Province Terrace Pond. We are looking to expand that to meet our current ordinances. And the reason for doing this is so that the properties along Province Terrace corridor can utilize that pond to meet their stormwater requirements. Currently, it is just short of our ordinance, so we need to expand it to be able to do that so that the individual properties don't have to meet certain requirements on their own property. So this is a benefit to the businesses as much as it is the benefit to the city.
Thank you, Director Josh. Is there any questions? Alderman Stan Sevenik?
Thank you. You have in here, private street section. Am I in the right? Or is that for the next one?
I think that's for the next one.
That's the
Next
next
one,
one,
yeah.
excuse me.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, here, they're stuck. Okay.
Okay.
I'll ask that when that comes up. Sorry.
All right, any further questions? I don't see any. Do I have a motion? Alderman Rebecca Nichols.
Thank you, Chair. I'll move to forward to council the recommendation to award contract unit number 2000-07, Province Terrace Pond, modifications to Advanced Construction Incorporated in the amount of $210,930.95.
We have a motion by Alderman Nichols and a second by Alderman Tom Grady. Is there any further discussion? Alderman Sevenik? Oh, I'm sorry. Alderman Sevenik?
Were there more than one bid? Was there 4 bids or something? Or-
We had 2 bidders on the project, however, one was
that's what it was.
rejected because they did not have the writing for their bid. So all of our bid packages, you need to physically write the numbers for the bid as well as write the words, and the words dominate the numbers as far as the total number or total cost for that quantity. So that's why we had to reject that one. And this has been common practice for the city, for years under Attorney Captain's guidance.
This is the problem when you read your packet on a Thursday and then it doesn't all hit you, but I understand that now.
Seeing no further questions, can we take roll call, please?
Motion carried 7-0.
Okay, Up is number 2, that's payment to Summers Construction Company, Inc., contract unit number 2019-01 for new street construction. That's Province Terrace, Jenny Street, Province Link, and Midway Crossing, various locations, in the amount of $98,330.93. Payment number 4, is there any discussion? Or, I'm sorry, Director Josh first.
So this is construction over in the Province Terrace area. The project is going along smoothly. We are planning on doing asphalt this week, at least the binder course, so things are moving smoothly.
Thank you. Alderman Stan Sevenik.
Back to my question about the private street. Can you address that?
Yes, so Midway Crossing is a public street in certain areas and a private street in certain areas. So it used to be all private streets, and then portions of that street were dedicated to the public. There is still a portion of street between Midway Road and where there's a T intersection with the existing Midway Crossing. That portion up near CVS Pharmacy is still technically a private street. So we did work out an agreement with the owner, knowing that they were planning on doing some work on there last year, to be able to put it under our contract for this year and sign an agreement. So they will be reimbursing us for the entire cost of that private street construction. It was just something that was done to benefit both the owner and the city, so that we get a good quality product in case it does ever get turned over to us in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman James Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. Josh, on the concrete portion, is that where our fire station is, you turn on to, is that Province Terrace where Vinton put the concrete down? But a couple 100 feet before that intersection, with the rain we've had, I show you a picture, but I'm not gonna touch that phone. There's, the water is over the curb at times when it rains. And I didn't know if that was because of, I went out and checked, I had a call, I had a picture sent to me, and I didn't know if that was those barriers we sometimes have out there to hold the water back, but they didn't seem to be there. And then we seem to have a rain every day now, and the next day the same thing happens there, where it all builds up over the top of the curbs even at that point. And I was just wondering if,
It very easily could be the erosion control barriers that are generally put in inlets. We do require those to be put in on all of our paving contracts, so that does limit the amount of water that can go into the inlet.
I didn't see any on there though, I went out there. and looked.
We can double check on that to make sure that they're there. They are supposed to be there. You know, otherwise it could be that if they did get dislodged, then a lot of mud and dirt can get into the storm sewer. So then the contractor would be required to clean that before the final project. So we can definitely look into that and see if those barriers are A, still there, and B, if that sewer does need to be cleaned.
I did see Vinton come on my street, and the last day of the project, they cleaned the
Yep.
sewers, but 2 days in a row, that overfilled over the curves there, so you may wanna look into that.
Yep, we can look
I'd
into
say
that.
about 200 feet before the intersection.
Okay.
Alderman Ted Grady.
Tom Grady.
Tom, sorry,
Oh, I'm sorry, Alderman Tom Grady.
thank you. I'd like to make a motion to forward to council the payment to Summers Construction Company Incorporated for contract number 201901, new road construction at Providence Terrace, Jenny Street, Providence Link, and Midway Crossing in various locations for the amount of $98,330.93, which is payment number 4.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second, is, by Alderman Rapella. Is there any other further discussion? Seeing no one, can we take a roll call? Take a roll call, please.
Motion carried on roll call, 7-0.
Okay, number 3, is a change order for Northeast Asphalt, Inc. for the contract unit number 2019-03. That's for the street reconstruction, various locations. That's an add of $22,603.36. Change order number one. Director Josh?
So this is a request to the council to add Woodland Place to our paving contract. We did see some savings earlier in the year on our asphalt contract. So because this one didn't have the concrete work or the restoration work or any sewer work that drove up prices this year, we did get a good bid on this one, and we did have about $67,000 in savings on that contract. Based on the fact that we know that Woodland Place now is in rough shape, the pavement's dropped off from the curb line several inches in a lot of locations, we really are left with two options. We can either do a temporary fix where we patch the roadway with our crews, or we can add it to this contract and do a permanent roadway. We recommend doing the permanent roadway. It's gonna last longer. It's not gonna be that much cheaper to just do a temporary patch. So we're recommending to do this where we add this to this contract. And then going forward in future years, this is something that we may do again, where if we have these smaller street projects, we may set them aside for, you know, having savings on future contracts where we'll come by, request a change order to add a street. So this is something that we do potentially want to do just to make sure that we're doing the best job for the city to pave as many streets as possible.
Thank you, Director Josh. Alderman Ted Grady?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to forward to council the change order for Northeast Asphalt Incorporated, contract unit number 2019-03, street reconstruction, various locations, add of $22,603.36, change order number one.
Thank you. We have a motion by Alderman Ted Grady and a second by Alderman Tom Grady. Alderman Randy Rapella. Sorry, Alderman Rapella. Got it. Okay, any further discussion? Alderman Stan Severnick?
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Chair. These photos that you provided, what's going on in this city? I mean, if you look at this, I could take you down about 10 streets, which I have done with the director, and I've shown him when he first came on board. The curbs look like they're in great shape, but they've all went, and it's really a huge issue in this city. I mean, if you look at the condition of the street, it's not really bad. It's just where the curb and the street meet, and that's been throughout the city. I'd like to know what's going on. I mean, was it the contractor, or was it, one thing that Tim Jacobson always told me was, number one, foundation, foundation, foundation. And something's going wrong. I mean, I'm embarrassed. I mean, every day I find another street that's like this. So I don't know what your budget's gonna look like, Mayor or Josh, but this really needs to be addressed.
And I do want to point out that this is not a problem that's unique to Menasha. There are numerous other communities that have this. There's two trains of thought as far as what's going on with this. The first train of thought is that there is a lack of compaction near the curb line.
Yeah.
The issue is you just can't compact as well near the curb line. We are focusing on that area for any future projects that we're doing. That curb line does need to get compacted, you know, better than it has in the past. The second thought is that you have a lot of very heavy garbage trucks running along that same route. Both have their merits. I tend to believe that it's probably a combination of both, where you have a looser compaction underneath that area as well as heavy trucks driving on that, that's causing this issue. So it's something that we'll need to look at addressing as we go through with future roadway projects, but we are aware of the issue that is occurring. Obviously, we can't necessarily stop it from occurring on streets that are already done. However, going forward with new streets that we do plan on having that curb line compacted a lot better than it has been in the past.
That's good to hear. As far as being contacted, was it a resident that contacted you?
I believe it was a resident who contacted our department.
Alderman Rebecca Nichols?
You. Just wanted to verify that it's the entire street that will be redone?
Yes, that's just a little bit of a cul-de-sac street. It's probably 7,500 feet long. It's not a very large street, which is why we were able to add it to this contract.
Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, can we take a roll call?
Motion carried on roll call 7-0.
Okay, last one, number 4 is 0-13-19. It's an ordinance amending Title 10, Chapter 1 of the Code of Ordinances for the speed limits, introduced by Alderman Kruger. Alderman Kruger is not here. Director Josh?
So this is to add 3 streets to our 35 miles an hour speed limit ordinance, Lake Park Road, Plank Road, and Oneida Street. All 3 of these are currently posted at 35 miles an hour. However, we're not in our ordinance. Our police chief so kindly pointed that out to us. So when we see stuff like that, we do need to bring it forward. So we are bringing this forward just to kind of correct what has been out there.
Someone get picked up and then one in court? No?
No? Okay. Alderman Tom Grady?
Thank you, Vice Chair. I'd like to make a motion to forward to council 0-13-19, an ordinance amending Title 10, Chapter 1 of Code of Ordinances, speed limits, introduced by Alderman Steve Kruger.
Thank you. I have a motion by Alderman Tom Grady, second by Alderman Randy Rapella. Is there any further discussion? Seeing no one, can we take a roll call, please?
Motion carried 7-0.
Look for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Tom Grady. We are adjourned.